today in the background, we've just removed the World War I monument from the Anderson High School old property, and we're getting ready to transport it out to the cemetery at Maplewood Cemetery, where it'll be set up for Veterans Day. And standing with me today is Cecilia Calvert, also Steve Jackson, the Historical Society, and Colleen Rector. Both these ladies are with DAR. So let me start off with you, Cecilia, and talk a little bit about what we're doing here today and what we can look forward to here in the future.
Right. Well, this all started with an article that Steve Jackson wrote in the newspaper saying that, the monument sits here, the property's been sold, we don't know what's going to happen to it, should be moved. So I just kind of started brainstorming with the rest of the DAR group, and we decided that we thought we could do it. We would have enough people and we could do the fundraising that was necessary to support the move. The next thing was to find a good place to put it. And John Dick and the board of Maplewood Cemetery very graciously accepted that and created a place for it in the veterans section of Maplewood Cemetery. In November, we will have a rededication on Veterans Day. Actually on Sunday. I guess they call Monday Veterans Day this year, but on November 11th we'll have a rededication of the monument and make it a big event for Anderson.
I know out at the cemetery they've had Veteran Days events for a number of years, and it's always a special thing. I know the Boy Scouts participate, and they always do a great job, and of course the flags are usually flying, and it always looks great, but this will be really a more special time because of this monument here.
We will be involving the Boy Scouts, the Anderson High School JROTC, as far as the flag raising, and then we'll have a lot of speakers like Mr. Mayor and some Stuart Goodwin from the World War Memorial in Indianapolis, our state region of DAR, Steve Jackson, and a few other people. So it'll be a good ceremony. We're going to hope for good weather, and we will have a reception following that at the Park Place Church of God Fellowship Hall. So if we do have bad weather, part of the ceremony will be held there.
Set up. Well, Colleen, let me ask you. Both you ladies have been with the DAR for some time, but how long have you been involved with them?
Just a year.
Just this year for you?
Yes, just a year for me.
Okay, so this is a special event.
It's my first,
you came in at the right time. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a big event. I think this is the most money the daughters have ever raised in Madison County.
Yeah, and I might ask Cecilia too, but you guys had several major sponsors that have helped out. You might want to go ahead and mention who some of those
thankful.
are.
Yes, well, Community Hospital Foundation, St. Vincent's, actually members of the school board actually gave from their personal checkbooks. The Tri-Kappa ladies sold coffee for us, close to $400 worth of coffee for us. And so we sold mugs, coffee and tea, did the subscription thing. So they did not take any money off of that. They just did it for cost for us. And we sold about $2,000 worth of coffee, and we raised through donations $4,000. So we have our $6,000 that was our goal. There's other members. Rotary. Yes, the Rotary Club just gave us a check Friday. PNC Bank, and I'm trying to think. There's so many.
I'm sure there are, and if you get them to us, we'll make sure that they get up on the screen for people can see. But we're very fortunate to have that many folks in the community step up and understand the importance of what you guys are doing, and we appreciate that. I might talk to Steve for a second. Of course, again, Steve runs our Madison County Historical Society that does a tremendous job in maintaining our history, and the knowledge that you personally have is unbelievable. So we certainly appreciate what you do. But Steve, if you don't mind, take a couple of moments and explain to the folks at home a little bit about not just this memorial in general, but about the participation of the folks in Madison County when it came to World War I.
Well, Madison County gave a lot during World War I, and at the History Center right now, Mayor, we have an exhibit about Madison County's participation in World War I, which lays all of that information out. The important thing are the people who participated, and we have their stories. This story here is a wonderful story because the Anderson High School class of 1920 took it upon themselves to raise the funds to have this monument executed and then installed and dedicated, and they dedicated it on Armistice Day, which in 1920, it was Armistice Day. November the 11th, 1920, would have been exactly 2 years after the cessation of hostilities in Europe. And it was to recognize the 6 Anderson High School students who gave their lives during World War I. And those people's names appear on the tablet that's on the monument. That day, there was a huge assemblage of people here for that dedication. The students, they let school out for a few moments to let the students come out and participate in all this. They had a flag that they displayed. On it was a star representing every Anderson High School student who had participated in World War I. 6 of those stars were gold for these 6 boys that gave their lives during World War I. And it was important to the class of 1920. Of course, they're all gone now, but I've said to several people today, I am without a doubt, if there are peepholes in the floor of heaven, they're looking down on this and they're pleased at what we've done. This has been a great day to save this monument. Thanks to the DAR. I don't think they get enough credit for the work they do, but ever since they've been a part of Madison County's history, they have been at the forefront of saving things like this. They have a long litany of monuments and so forth that they have been a part of. And so out of being the county historian, I am so grateful for the DAR and what they've done here today. And so it pleases me that we've now giving this monument a new home, a rebirth, if you will. And as Colleen said, we will have a rededication ceremony 98 years to the day after the original dedication ceremony. And I'll have some remarks to make that day about that. So hope the public comes out for that.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you again for those words of history and explanation. And you're right, it's amazing. It's unfortunate the World War I, of course, was supposed to be the war to end all wars. Unfortunately, that did not happen. And so many young folks contributed really to all the wars that we've had, and people forget that. And it's not unusual that high school kids, as you know, both in World War I, World War II, and later wars, involved themselves either immediately after graduation. Some of them left school before they got to graduate. And so they certainly gave the supreme sacrifice. And so we look forward to celebrating all that come the Veterans Day weekend, I guess we'll call it. And so if you've never been there before, definitely please come out. It'll be a special occasion this year for sure. Thank you again.
Mayor, one other thing.
Yes, sir.
3 of the 6 are buried in Maplewood Cemetery. 2 in East Maplewood and 1 in West Maplewood. So 3 of the 6 are buried there. So it's a fitting place for it. A great thank you has to go out to Maplewood Cemetery for providing the ground and paying for the expense of the base for this. And so as a county historian, this is a red letter day for me, and I'm so pleased. So
well, thank you again for what you folks have done for DAR, and Steve, always what you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you,
sir.
Colleen. Thank you.